Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming, and this is The Walking Dead Season 9 Rick Grimes spoiler. We have got some good information to talk about tonight. We're going to have some very animated chat. We are going to go through some spoilers, and I'm going to ask you guys to narrow this stuff down tonight. We already had some good debate. I was chatting a little bit earlier, so Steph, a few other people, we had some leadership debate, and that may come into future conversations too, because it just shows the passion that each of us have for the show, and what we look at is leadership, character development, all of the above. Tonight's episode, really interesting stuff, and it is a timeline that's set up. So I do want to give a shout out to Spoiling Dead fans page. Their timeline is set up, and we do have another source that's added some information that has chose not to be named. It is going to lean these theories. We don't have the last little bit of icing on the cake, but I think you're going to get very close to feeling what goes down with Rick and company after we talk about this chat tonight. So I do want to give some super chat shout outs to get this thing going. Valar says hello, 99 Army, Kill Steph, Emmy, Kel, Sweet Tommy sponsors, patrons, and of course all the super chatters. And we also got Pete D in the house saying finally. Pete's been waiting on this for 24 hours. Told me last night, like, Kills, I don't want to wait. So this is what we're going to do. I've actually done a little bit of the work for you so you don't have to sort through some of the forums. Once again, I'm not taking credit for any of this. This is not my information. This is information that's been provided by different sources. So I do want to start out by saying that we're going to go through the timeline from the Spoiling Dead's fan page. They've uploaded just tons and tons of stuff. I actually sorted through it and have broken it down. So I'm going to give you a lot of the information so you don't have to go through and read it line by line. And this is really going to center around episode number 5, which is Rick's last episode. So where they're filming, who was filming, what was seen. A lot of people thought that there was some trickery involved. Yeah, there was. And I'm going to go through exactly where the trickery occurred to sort of throw people off. And then we're going to get people back on this Rick topic. And a lot of people are saying, is he going to die? Is he going to live? Well, hold tight. Let's start out with episode 5 and get into exactly what we know and where the excitement was created. So the big news when they started filming toward the end of June, middle of June, probably the 16th, 20th range, is that John Bernthal was in town. So a lot of people thought, hey, he's just going by Nick and Norman's. He's there for some food. Maybe he's checking it out. And he was. But then it was actually confirmed that he was filming one episode, which was Rick's last episode, episode number 5. So then the word got out like, okay, well, there's this rumor that Rick gets engulfed by walkers and he's riding along on a white horse and it's a hallucination and he sees Shane. And that very well will be, except why would he just see Shane? That was a little bit of the drama. Like, if you're going to hallucinate, Shane might be a part of that, but there's a whole lot of other people. Well, that's one of the spoilers that was sort of buried, that was hidden. People didn't really talk about all the other people that were seen filming and were seen coming and going. So I'm going to skip forward a couple episodes. So some other people that were seen on set to film this episode: Herschel, Carl, Lori, Sasha, and Abraham. So where it was not really valid that people thought, okay, just Shane, why wouldn't he be seeing other people? Well, he has. So when this scene goes down, this hallucination scene, Herschel, Carl, Lori, Sasha, and Abraham are all involved in this episode. Hold on, there's more. Because the first thing, Legend, we didn't get a confirmation of Glenn. There could have been others, but these were people that were seen. All right, so let me go forward and talk about how interesting this got, and why it is more likely that there is going to be some variation of the Rick engulfed by walkers going down. So, not a fake script, but how it played out was a little bit of the razzle-dazzle and the okey-doke. So, casting calls on the 18th and 19th. Lots of spare walkers. So the spare walkers were slim males and females, age 18 and up, shorter hair for whatever makeup they wanted to use. But here's the big thing, which was something a little bit different than their other casting calls. There was a tagline that said you could not be claustrophobic. So we've seen some of these casting calls before. So this does definitely scream out huge herd area. There's going to be tons of people, very tight-knit. So the casting call was for slim males and females, not claustrophobic. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's not the big, hey, we've got some information, but I'm just breaking this stuff down for you line by line. People that were seen filming in this episode, early on in episode number 5, Ezekiel, Rosita, and of course, Michonne and Maggie. Now remember, the whole fake script that was out there, Michonne and Maggie were a big part of that at the very end, where Maggie was actually rumored to be restraining Michonne to keep her from going in and rescuing Rick. So even though people thought this was screwing around with some people, the sightings, the time, the energy they put into this does say that this is still a valid storyline, but probably not the way it ends. So hold tight for that. Also, after they had filmed in the base camp, Andrew Lincoln was leaving to get out of costume, was seen with blood on his hands. So definitely his last episode, there's some blood involved. Now, whether it's his blood or somebody else's blood, we can make or break that. But now I'm going to give you something that really has hit home. And this has been kind of speculated. It's been wondered. It's been, how did this go down? And to me, this is very, very big news. Because we have seen the first promo. We saw Rick with the Capitol building. We saw the birds. And we saw the helicopter. In the version of it where everybody's tinted red that we have up on the screen right now, and maybe the red is symbolic of, everybody's got a little blood on their hands. But these artistic recreations do not just happen by chance. Everything in this picture tells a story. We could probably have a whole stream just talking about this story. The Capitol building is going to be big. It's where they start to get some of the resources and change. The birds are symbolic of life. Notice the sky, how it breaks off into the birds, and you can see over on the left side, you see the hands, and you see kind of the face going down. But I've also circled the helicopter. It's not coincidental that the helicopter continues to show up. At first we said Jada saw it, Rick saw it, we see the A in the background, we saw the scene, but we see it in this art as well. And so people know it is going to be a part of this season. They just don't know where it is going to be a part of this season. So, ladies and gentlemen, guess which episode and who was seen filming with the chopper. So, episode 5 is confirmed to be the episode that has the chopper, and that is Rick's last episode. You can't hide a chopper. But the speculation, look, they've seen the horse, they've seen the walkers, they've seen everything around. We saw it mixed into the trailer. We've seen it in the picture. So episode 5, it is not coincidental that this chopper is in the background. And I also want to bring your attention to one additional thing, as we talked about before. This was the newest trailer, which was not the same picture that we saw early on. So in this particular picture, Jadis has a look of concern. And what most people tend to focus in on here is the fact that, okay, Jadis on a walkie-talkie, it's a little different angle. We see there is a group. We see the sign. We see the triad sign. We see the A. What's even more important with this is the background. Those of you that had followed the Spoiling Fans Dead page, you know that they had people on set taking pictures of various locations that were being filmed. So let me also tell you that Rick was seen filming in one location, and apparently on this day with the helicopter is where the Okie Dokie got performed, the Razzle Dazzle. So there was rumored to be filming right outside of Atlanta. And there were people there. They were ready to take pictures. Nobody filming. They chalked it up as confusion. They chalked it up as what happened. It got canceled. It never happened. So all the people that were looking for the information to kind of find out, well, where was Rick? And, okay, maybe there's multiple scenes being filmed. They were led on a wild goose chase, and there was nothing going on. But back here, we also had a picture of where Rick was rumored to be. And there were trees, and there was a pathway right between the trees, very similar to what you see right here. So they did pull a little bit of a swerve, and the helicopter, Rick, both seen in this location. Now, maybe it's a double swerve, maybe it's a double okie doke, maybe, they're just bringing a helicopter here to fool everybody. But it's leaning much, much more strongly that the helicopter, Jadis, and Rick are all correlated. So a couple more tidbits that I'm going to throw out there. We also have a casting call that was very, very interesting. We've seen people that play Andrew Lincoln's double, but there was a casting call on this day for a white male, 6 feet 160. Andrew Lincoln is 5'10", 158. Very, very, they were very specific on the size they wanted the person. Maybe a little bit taller, possibly horseback. It's still the speculation. It's starting to add up to not just a double, but possibly a Rick Grimes, an additional person. Maybe not even a stunt man. I don't think that you need a stunt man to get devoured by walkers. But I do think that the amount of walkers that we're seeing filming, the fact that you have someone Rick's size for a body double, the pulling all the paparazzi and everybody away to a location where there was no filming and having Rick film in a separate location. Shane, Herschel, Carl, Lori, Sasha, Abraham definitely speaks out that there's going to be something going down. Is there a harness for the helicopter? I don't know that I've seen it. I can't really make that out. It looks to me like leaves from a tree. However, I would not be surprised that if this is the rescue helicopter for Rick Grimes, I do feel like there's still a situation where he's going to be surrounded. So June Smith says, Kills, are you saying that Rick is going to live? I've never said anything except that Rick is going to live. My strong inclination, the fact that spoiler site said Rick was going to die, and then they went back and retracted it and said, wait a minute, we've got some additional information. Now we're hearing it's possible he lives through it. I don't think that was just coincidence that it's possible he lives through it. And then you do have some of the intentional deception going on to try to get people away from where the filming's happening. And this helicopter being present in Rick's final scene is way, way too coincidental for me. I don't see Jadis as, hey, Rick's dead, get down here, pick me up, take me away. I definitely have no reason to suspect it's anything other than an open-ended exit for Rick. Let me go through a couple more things that will probably come into play. So, previous to this scene where the helicopter was spotted was a scene, and this was not filmed the same day, but prior to filming this, Rick, Daryl, Michonne in a wooded scene with walkers and Heath's camper. So it appears that episode 5 is going to involve Heath's camper, possibly Heath or whatever is left of Heath, Daryl, Michonne, Maggie, more than likely involved in the final scene of Rick Grimes. I know it's a lot to take in. I know it's a lot to discuss. But you can fool people. But I also want to say you can't fool everybody. There's too many eyes. There's too many ears. And in some cases, they do make the attempt. But you can't have weeks and weeks of deception. At some point, they have to film. And at some point, they have to just get it out there, and if people see it and hear it and spoil it, they will. That you have production crews, you have camera, you have literally millions of dollars going into these episodes. So when you're putting that much time and that much energy, you can't hide everything. And I think a lot of times we see this as like, no, it's a big trick. No, it's a big trick. No, a lot of this is not a trick. Now, could Rick ultimately die in all of this? Yes, he could. I mean, the helicopter could be a trick, but it's unlikely that the walkers and the helicopter. So I'm not saying that they won't kill him, but I'm saying if you had to put an assessment on it and say they understand the value of Rick Grimes, they understand the out that the audience needs. They understand it needs to be something epic, something dramatic. And let me also say, it's not inconceivable that Rick gets bit, and Rick gets bit in an area that Jadis knows that they need to get him out of there and get him somewhere to take off a body part, to try to save him, to let him die somewhere else. Any of those things could go down. The amount of time it takes a person to turn, the amount of time, look, we've seen various situations. I'm just catching up on a couple comments here. Because there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of good thoughts, there's a lot of good comments. What I've given you up to this point are all facts. They're 100% confirmed. These are the things that have been seen, have been used, have been filmed, have been spotted. These are not our predictions. This is not just making it up. Now, we can add to it. We can definitely, go one way or the other and say Rick lives, Rick dies. But what I will say is that some of the other predictions, we can really start to narrow those down. And there's a lot of action to pack in 5 episodes. Especially when you're starting out the season premiere with 90 minutes. So we're going to get a lot of action there. And then we're just going to see the rise of power with Maggie. We're going to see how deception is dealt with. We're going to see a little bit of anarchy come about. And 4 and 5 is really where I think we're going to be on pins and needles. 4 and 5 is where we know we're winding down. We know where the end could possibly happen. Let me see if there's a couple more little tidbits that were mixed up in here. We do also have, in episode 5, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, Negan and Daryl are seen filming together as well. So there's a lot of different ways that can be perceived. Keep in mind, the one area of redemption that we talked about, and this is the way I could see this play out, is if Rick disappears and he's presumed to be dead, I'm gonna take this kind of a step further. Because I think there's 2 storylines. Now keep in mind, James Kelly says, I'm a gambling man and I have no idea what to pick. Let me give you 2 potential storylines on how I think they're going to play out. Now, once again, everything that I've mentioned prior to this is confirmed. Happens. spotted, seen, part of episode 5. But I'm going to give you 2 super bold storyline predictions. But here is the way it's going to go down. I need all 300 people, 400 people at any moment in this chat right now. If you guys want to see the bold predictions and how I think they will attach to this, I need everybody here to slap that like button. Like it up, share it, leave your comments, get involved in the chat. Stop being a wallflower. If you're going to be here, you're going to be part of the 999 Army. We need you to participate. We need your comments. We need your interaction. The difference between our chats and every other chat that's out there is we encourage participation. It doesn't matter. I mean, your theories, your thoughts, there's no bad theories and no bad thoughts. So get involved and hang out with us. So I got to jump on the super chat while you guys are finding the like button. And then once I do that, I will give you 2 super bold predictions and how I think they're going to play out. So we got June Smith here. Says, this is the best hope thus far, Kills. You are the man and the 999 Army is the best. So let me say this once again, June. All I have done is I have consolidated the data. Let me give credit where credit is due. First of all, this is not, the bold predictions are going to be me. But everything that's listed here are from Spoiling Dead's fan page. A whole lot of stuff, though. They had literally 30, 40 pages of data. So I had to go through and really sort some of it out. And also another source that has given me a couple tidbits. So I don't want to go into that, but I do want to thank the people involved. I get a lot of information, but I do want to thank those people. So I'm just the one announcing it. All right, so everybody's involved. We got a couple different storylines and the way I think they're going to play out. In episode 5, this is confirmed, but then I'll do the bold prediction. Negan and Daryl seen filming together. I don't think that's a love fest, not in episode number 5. In fact, I am going to stick by the fact that Rick is surrounded by walkers. Hold on. You know what? I do have to give you guys one more piece of information before I get to the bold prediction. So this is confirmed as well. There is a white horse prop, and you guys know this from Spoiling Dead's fan page. The white horse prop matches the horse that we see the person walking away leading the walkers in the trailer. All right, let me get to the super chat, and then I'm going to tell you why it's important, and then I promise you I will get to the 2 bold predictions. This is Jimmy's Jamming in the house. Jimmy says, it seems to strengthen what we've been saying all along as a group. Absolutely. Hope. Rick is hope, and now I feel like we have lots of it. Jimmy, I absolutely agree, and this is why this was more exciting for me, because as you start to see these timelines, it certainly, Pete D cracks me up, it certainly has validated everything that we have speculated. So if you do theories and then you get spoilers, and those spoilers start to match the theories, and then you get visual evidence of that, it's starting to feel pretty good. All right, so we see a person riding away on a white horse with walkers following them. There is a white horse prop. Now, there's only 2 reasons why you'd have a white horse prop. 1, and not actually use the white horse. 1, you want to fool people. Number 2, and I'm going to let the Army answer this question. It's a rhetorical question. To trick people, what's the second reason why you would have a horse prop and not the actual horse? I just want to see you guys type it. I just want to see you say it. Legend 83 has already hit it. You'll see it. The horse dies. So, the Rick, the horse scene, very much still in play. But we know that Maggie was filming. We know Michonne's filming. So the script is very, very likely to a certain degree. Rick hallucinating, Rick being bit, Rick blacking out. All of those things are still in play. Rick seeing his life flash before his eyes. He's delirious. Shane, Carl, Lori, Herschel, Sasha, Abraham, all sort of coming back to him. Completely surrounded. It's suicide for Michonne to go in there. Maggie restrains her. All right. But then where would Daryl and Negan come into play? Well, I don't think they're going to be buddy-buddy. So I think Daryl wants to kill Negan. I think that's where that's going to come out. Now, Rick is gone. For all intents and purposes, the group thinks he's gone. Daryl has open season to kill Negan. But we mentioned Negan needs redemption. And the only way Negan is going to get... This is bold prediction. Not confirmed. I've said this over and over again. The only way that Negan gets redemption is for someone to forgive him, to let him off the hook, for someone to want to kill him and change their mind. And there's only two people, Maggie and Daryl. Daryl probably wants to kill Negan as bad as anybody. Absolutely tortured. And with Rick being gone, that definitely opens up the avenue for Daryl to get at Negan. But hold on. Now let's get to potential storyline number 2. And this is where I think it's epic. The tables turn. The open-endedness happens. And the real drama. But I'm not going to let it play out. You know what? I'm holding this like button hostage. I need this over 150 likes, and then I'm going to give you the super bold prediction, and I'm not going back from it. So show some love for the 999 Army. Everybody do your thing here, and here we go. We're going to talk about Rick's survival and how it's going to go down. So as soon as the Army chimes in, going once. Come on, Kirby, talk it up. Get everybody involved. We're getting close. Boy, are we getting close. That's what Negan would say, right? We're getting close, almost. Just do it. All right, I'm going to start, and then we'll get those last couple likes while we're explaining it. All right. Rick surrounded by walkers. Rick on the horse. It looks bleak. But he is on a horse still. I think the horse makes it out. Somehow. It is a massive, massive group of walkers. A sea of walkers that can't be seen. I think Rick gets bit. But when the horse keeps riding, I think Jadis is on the other side. And I think Jadis sees the situation, and she calls out a favor. And her goal is to get Rick in his helicopter. And we have no idea what happens to Rick Grimes until after the time skip. I think that's what's going to go down. I think it's a long time. I think we're going to wonder if Rick made it. I think people in the back of their mind are going to wonder if he's the cure. Or I think that Rick could die. Absolutely. I think any of those are still in play. Toledo, I'm going to say it works for me. And I'm going to say that the death works for some people. And I'm going to say a comeback works for some people. And the more I thought about this, not just open-ended, I think the writers are smart enough to leave it open-ended, and it could actually be ended. But do you need... Let me ask this question, and this is more of a philosophical question. Hold on. This is important. I want you guys to really dig into this for 1 second. Because we're spoiled. You're spoiled. I'm spoiled. We're all spoiled because we want answers. We want closure. We can't live without closure. We got to know what happens, right? The ultimate slap in the face and the ultimate sign of hope is leaving this open-ended. Not a cliffhanger. Legend, I'm not talking about a cliffhanger. This is where I think there's a misconception. There's so many things that happen that never get answered every single day. There's things that go unsolved. There's mysteries that you just can't answer. If the writers write this out, if the writers write this in a way where I can make it whatever I want, and you can make it whatever you want, and other people can make it whatever they want, and they don't answer this question, Rick's character lives or dies totally based on your wants, your needs, and your perception of the show. To me, it would be the most brilliant ending because it would not spoon feed everything to myself, to the spoiler sites, to people that always want to see it end a certain way. If Rick is hope to you, then you can have hope that he somehow made it somewhere. If Rick is bitten and you think he's got to die, then he's dead to you. Or if you think there's a possibility he's going to come back in the last episode and they're going to answer the question, then they got 2 or 3 years to answer the question. So, of all the scenarios that I played out, and I thought, nobody says Rick dies. They say Rick leaves. Andy says it's his last episode, but his story and his relationship with Rick Grimes is far from over. No, Toledo, it doesn't need resolution. It needs resolution for some people. I can tell you, for me personally, I don't need it. But if you poll the audience and some people want him to live and you just can't see that on screen, and some people don't want him recast, I don't need to know. I know Andrew's leaving the show. That's real. That's real life, right? He's done. He doesn't need to be there. So there's real life closure for me. And if there's real life closure, I don't need TV closure. Because I do feel like Rick is hope. And I feel like Rick is hope for the group. And to some people, Rick would be dead, even on the show. And here's the last thing that I'm going to add to the bold prediction. How interesting would it be if Jadis is the only person that knows the fate of Rick Grimes? How interesting would that be? She had the walkie, and I think that would actually make her character a little bit more interesting. She'd be like a gatekeeper. We would never want her to die. We'd always want her character. It's like, that secret can't die with her. She can get on the walkie and find out. I actually think it would do some things. I really feel like it would be epic. I think it would satisfy the audience. And I also think that it would beef up her character. Now, let's go back. Angela Kang said she was nervous about how do you write off Rick Grimes. They said it's going to be epic. we all agree, almost to a person here, that Rick, surrounded by walkers, being eaten by walkers, hallucinating about Shane, is not going to be epic. There's nothing epic about that. Zero epic. You guys have me on record of saying, I will call up Angela Kang and say, that is the biggest load of crap I've ever seen in my life. That's not epic. Why did you even say it was epic? Why did you even go on the show and mislead everybody? But you get him a semi-dumpster scene. I'm not saying the horse is the same as a dumpster. But Rick riding through, slashed, chomped on, beaten, getting through to the other end, and Jadis making that call, that 911 call. Or if you're international, Jadis would be making a 999 call. And then Rick gets airlifted out. So I'm going to ask the group here one more time. Let's get your thoughts on record. Based on all the evidence we talked about today, Rick, I'm going to give you two scenarios. And you guys are going to you're going to give me a 1 to 10 scale of epicness. Somebody gets attacked. They get surrounded by walkers. Rick gets on a horse. He rides away. Gets attacked. He gets eaten. Maggie says, no, Michonne, don't. Don't stop him. You're going to die too. We need you. Okay, 1 to a 10. Give it to me. How epic is that? Anybody? Nope. 2s? Nothing? Okay, now once again, for those of you that logged in a little bit late, here are the facts. The helicopter was seen in episode number 5. Shane, Herschel, Carl, Lori, Sasha, Abraham. Casting calls for Rick Grimes. Now I'm going to give you a different scenario. Someone is in danger. Whoever that someone is, we can speculate. Rick on the right horse, the white horse, rides through. An epic attempt to save. As he's getting attacked, flashback of Shane. Flashback of Herschel. His strength not to give up. Sasha, all these people he lost, all these people he's fighting for, to save, to build something different. Ready to sacrifice. The group does see it, and they can't do anything. He's engulfed. But the horse somehow makes it to the other side. With Rick. Damaged, beaten. To a point where you think this is the end. And Jadis on the other end is able to make that call to try to get that helicopter there for a last-ditch effort to save Rick. And she gets him on there. And it's her secret. Because she knows there's another group. She knows there's another group out there that may be able to help, they may not be able to help. They may be able to research, they may not. They may be able to save him, he could die. Now, you don't just have to flatter me, but compared to the other scenario, how epic would that be if the hope flies off? If we don't get an ending to Rick. But if we keep hope. Now, your option C is, well, Rick dies saving Negan. Once again, people have poked a lot of holes in that theory. But I just don't think you have a helicopter show up for no damn reason at all on Rick's final episode. And once again, this is what I want to kind of add. The writers have a big play with this. But if you guys missed the chat early on, we had a pretty passionate debate on leadership. And leadership is your perception. And leadership sometimes is what you make it. And epic is perception. What's epic to me may not be epic to you. And as a writer, as a leader, as a manager, as Captain James Kirk of the USS Enterprise, you ain't ever going to make 100% of the people happy with every theory. And especially if we do live streams, there's always going to be 5 or 6 people that dislike a video. There's always going to be people who want to see something play out a different way. There's always going to be that. So best case, you can do something that reassures the majority of your audience. And if you don't do something big, if you don't write it the exact appropriate way for someone as important as Rick Grimes, not only do you risk a bad story, but you risk alienating half of your audience. And it absolutely will. Legend83 says the theory crafting, there's no doubt that there are going to be things that are tweaked, things that, previously on AMC's The Walking Dead. You're going to see those over and over again, or you're going to see next week's episode, and there's going to be 1 or 2 things. Do I think this is 100% on the money? No. But do I think it has legs? Do I think it has staying power? Do I think it checks the boxes? Yes, I think it's right there, and there's going to be a couple of things within range that are a little bit different. But I do think that this is the core overview of a solid theory and a good theory based on how we've done this the last few years. Because there are some facts that you can't dispute. So once again, if you missed any part of this, let me give you just a quick recap of the facts that are out there. Episode 5, John Bernthal in town. Shane is confirmed to film in episode 5. You know there's going to be a hallucination of Shane. Shane's not alive. Who else going to have a Shane hallucination? It's Rick. So Rick having this vision of Shane has to come into play at some point. You've got lots of slim walkers casting calls, both male and female, 18 and up, must not be claustrophobic. So unless they're going to put them all in a small little tunnel and have them walk through, I think there's going to be lots of them. So they're going to completely engulf Rick Grimes. Now, what does that mean? Yes, they do sign confidentiality agreements. But let me tell you something. Listen to me very, very carefully on this one. Please. If there's anything that I've ever told you, 100%, if there are 200 people out there dressed as walkers, and there are 200 confidentiality agreements, there are 200 husbands and wives that know exactly what happens to Rick Grimes. And out of those 200 husbands and wives, there's 50, 60 that tell a neighbor and tell a friend. And out of those neighbors that tell a friend, they tell a few more. So don't think that this information is just in a tight group spoiler site. You can do things to give them the slip, but there is realities in these filmings. Now, how that scene plays out, the next leg of it is a different story. The reason I bring this up, Joseph Jimenez, to everybody here, and I'm going to go through the last little bit of recap. We're going to recap this episode. It's pun not intended. So out of the 500, 600, 700 people that I've told you know the fate of Rick Grimes, how many publications, how many people have you heard say that Rick Grimes is dead? It's going to be some silence here, huh? I think something just hit home. Light just go off, everybody? No, they're talking. Nobody. Zero. Zilch. Not a person has said that Rick Grimes is dead. Not a producer. Not a double. Not an actor. No one. So out of these 500 people, the people that were there, the people that told their wives and husbands, the people's husband's wife told their neighbors, not one of these people came out and said, hey, you know what? Such and such told me that Rick dies. Nobody has said he's died. Which strengthens the fact that he probably made it to the other side of these walkers. And they don't know what happened in the final scene. They very well Now, here's the thing that I will tell you. This scene was filmed differently than the Michonne scene, than the leaked script, than the fact that they're holding him. So that scene, I do feel like they left it open-ended. And they went to this scene, and this is the part we don't know. And this is the part that is very few people know. Because they didn't keep all those doubles around to see the death of Rick Grimes, or they probably saw Rick get through it. But they don't know what lies on the other end. They might have even saw him get bitten. Any of the above. But the one thing they have not confirmed is that Rick dies. And then, for those of you listening to the recap, they said they were filming outside of Atlanta. They took everybody there. Nobody was filming. They went back and they filmed this. Rick, a helicopter, but then we didn't see Jadis. We didn't get confirmation she was filming, but we have proof she was filming. So you've got that. And of course, Andy leaving the base camp with blood on his hands. I think that was the real red herring as well. They left a little blood on his hands. He went out and talked to some fans. I told you when we started the stream, there were two things that I thought were intentional deception. One, getting everybody to follow them to Atlanta when nothing was there. And number two, after parts of episode 5 film, to have remnants of blood on Andy's hand, have him walk out and talk to fans. I think that was too obvious. All right, everybody, we are going to wind this thing down. I want you to think about this, chat, because we are going to bring this up for a topic later on in the week as well. There are some other things that we want to talk about, we want to analyze, because I want to get more of your thoughts included in this. I definitely, if you didn't watch all of this, I would definitely recommend that you go back and listen to at least the first 30 minutes where we're recapping all the facts that are out there. They can't be disputed. Toward the end of it, we are adding some strong theories in there. It's one thing that we do like to do from time to time. But throughout the week, we got some, Rick may be on a walkie-talkie. We've heard a little bit of that. We've got, Rick could being researched. Several things that are out there that we could certainly add to it. And I think Legend 83 said it really well just a little bit ago, is our theory crafting is really going to take a lot of shape. It's really going to fine tune. I think we got a diamond, and we've got a few of the points kind of filed down, and I think we're down to the last couple points. So I want to just a special thank you to all of you for being here. Huge crowd tonight. Love your interaction. So do me a favor, if you guys are not part of the 999 Army, if you're not subscribed, in the bottom right corner, you can see a little 999 circle there. You can hit that. You'll get notifications. We want you to be a part of what we do. This channel continues to grow. It has just been phenomenal growth the last 3 or 4 months. So thank you for all of you for being here. I would not be here doing this if we didn't have an audience as wonderful as each and every one of you. We will be doing a lot of streams tonight, tomorrow night 9:30, Wednesday night 9:30, Thursday 9:30. So just be prepared. It's going to be a lot of action, a lot of activity, some good topics. I do want to if you're watching the playback, this is closing credits, so nothing exciting we're going to unveil here. But this is just where I like to tell everybody thank you we possibly can. So give me a quick 999 in chat. I want to do as many shout-outs as we possibly can. If you're interested in supporting the channel, there's a link down below. It's a Patreon site. You can see in the top left-hand corner, we got a ton of people that support this channel, so I want to thank each and every one of them. They get a few little tidbits, a little bit of personal information, just some stuff to hang out, and they also support the channel, so I appreciate everything they do. Their contributions go toward advertising. They go toward some worthy causes, and we're getting ready to hit another milestone, so that contribution might even go to a Comic-Con broadcast. So there'll be more details on that a little bit later on. Also, the sponsors, you can see they're highlighted in green. They got some awesome emojis. You can see Michelle M., Villar, a few others, Pete D. You get custom emojis if you become a sponsor. And also, a biggest shout I'd like to do is just for each and every one of you. You're here every night, and your thoughts are just amazing. Also, thank you to the moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kells. What else we got? We got the Walking Dead Facebook page, so you guys can join the 999 Walking Dead Army. Check that out. There's a link down below for that. And if we do additional streams or do cancellations, it's always posted on there. And if you want to rock some gear, then over on the left side, you can see some of the gear, and I'll probably be rocking some of that gear at San Diego Comic-Con next year. As I said, more to come on that. So let me do some shout-outs. Six Eyed Sports, Pete M's 999 Strong, Geese 74, Steven Speeden, another Fox, Kimberly G. I got 2 Kimberly G's in here, so I want to give a shout-out to both of them. Candy Z. Actually, they both typed almost the same time. I love it. Maria Favada, D. Martinelli, DJ Domstad, E Beach 72, Ida Roma, Madison Dickey, thank you. Appreciate the shout out there as well. Gina Crockett, thank you. Maggie B in the house. Got a Kimmy B. So we got Kim G's, we got Kim B's, we got everything working in here. That's what an awesome group is about. We got every name in the alphabet. Kelly Golan's in here. Shane Yahtzee, the Catnat, Michael Curie, thank you. We got some guy who probably should not be trying to spam rude stuff inside our stream. John Brody with the super chat. Thank you so much, John Brody. Appreciate that contribution, and I appreciate you being here. Michael Calcutt, thank you so much. Crystal Gore. Samantha W. Julie McGuire, Dustin Little, Anna Cruz. Honestly, I love doing the streams, but I really love doing the shout-outs. And I know I miss a ton of you every night we're doing the shout-outs, and I try to jump around as much as we can. But I don't care if we got 10,000 people in one of these streams. I'm going to do as many shout-outs as we possibly can. I just have to warn people in advance, like, this is the closing credits, so if you want to hang out, then hang out. Del Marva 1971, thank you. Bumblebee Brown, Laura Brown. We got Kimberly's, and we got the Brown household in here as well. Lots of Browns. Ron Burgundy Moore. Sergeant Chosen One. Thank you so much, man. Samantha W. Samantha W. said the chat before the stream was great. Steph keeps them entertained. I will have to say that. I don't normally jump into the chat, but a lot of times we do we post, and an hour before there's some good sidebars going on. So I happened to pass and saw some sidebars, so I'm like, I'm going to jump in some of this tonight. So, guys, get here early, stay late. You never know. You never know what we're liable to talk about. We're liable, we could break into song. Well, Lonnie, have a good night. Joey Price, what's up, Joey? Frank Patron. You know what, Frank? It's not spelled the same way, but I am a fan of Patron, by the way, just so you know. And thanks for getting involved in our channel, subscribing. Beth Burgett, thanks. Have a good night as well. Justin Barrett. Michael Calcutt. Maria Favada. I did hear a Marshall Tucker song the other day. I thought, with the Southern accent, I could probably... Oh, you know what I need to do, too? I just kind of... My Southern roots popped in my head. I just want to say in advance, my thoughts and prayers are going out to just family and friends anywhere from Georgia all the way up the East Coast, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. I know a ton of people in that area in the Mid-Atlantic, and let's just hope. This is Category 4 with Florence already. It looks vicious. So the only thing we can do is just hope that it lessens, and the impact on Wilmington or Norfolk or Hatteras, any of those areas. I mean, it could be absolutely devastating. So keep those people just in your thoughts and prayers as well. Kimberly G was Easy Street, Georgia. Rhonda, yep. As a Georgia native, and as I'm Mid-Atlantic, so it looks rough right now, but let's hope it kind of lessens up. I heard it in a love song. See, I could probably do like Marshall Tucker songs. No offense to them, but you don't really need to be that good. You just need a little bit of a Southern accent. And it's a good old time for me to head on down the line. All right. Yeah, that's the best I can do for you guys tonight. So these are like outtakes. Hang out for an outtake. Any Garth Brooks? No, because Garth is so good, it would just be an insult if I tried to even do that. Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots and ruined your black tie affair. That's the best I can do. Sorry, it's sad. But that's the only lyric like I know for Garth Brooks. I don't know. Maybe I listened and maybe it wasn't that bad. I might be a little hard on myself. All right. We'll get some random stuff working for you guys in the near future. Oh, Michael, near Myrtle Beach. Yeah, it's still early, so let's just hope it just takes like a hard turn right and just hangs out in the Atlantic Ocean for a little while. I mean, I don't know who the other one. Okay, we'll see who the country fans are, because I don't even know the words to this, but sometimes you flip channels. So this is just a little part. I can fix a drink, pour it over ice. I can do something and make you feel nice. That's the only part I know. I don't even know all of it, but I just thought it's cool. Like, it's a cool name of a song. I can fix a drink. Let's see. Somebody's going to get it. Watch how quick somebody gets it. Kel will get it, like in a second. It's like a speed test. Who's going to buzz in first? You know what? I'm surprised. I'm surprised nobody knew that quicker. That's it. That's his country. There you go. Say, I knew somebody would know it. Chris Jansen. Drama Geek's like, what is country music? Um, Country music for me was the Eagles. That was that was as close as I ever got to country music. Sing some Dylan. Ruiner 187 wants some Dylan. How about Jacob Dylan? You know what? It's funny because I mentioned Wallflower. So I could go from Bob Dylan to his son Jacob Dylan to the Wallflowers. So long ago I don't remember when. That's when they say I lost my only friend. There you go. There's a little Dylan for you. And you know what? I'll take it out with one headlight. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate everybody being here. Thanks for hanging out for a couple outtakes. And just a big family here. So slap that like button if you're still holding it hostage and you don't know if you want to commit to it. Just commit to it. And be back here tomorrow night at 9:30, and we'll talk a little bit more about The Walking Dead. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Peace.